Okay, so we're diving into the Polish female rap scene today.
Yeah.
Based on this podcast interview with Gonix, a rapper, and Anna Plascott, who's a music biz consultant.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It's more complicated than you might think.
Yeah, it really is, like, on one hand, so much energy.
Yeah.
But then on the other, these barriers.
Oh, for sure.
Everywhere you look, it seems.
Right from the start, the podcast hosts, they hit us with these numbers and they're like, stark, right? Like in Poland, pop music, huge. Like 29% of people are listening to it, but rap, not so much. And for women, even less, only 2% of women in Poland in 2018 said they listened to rap. And get this, the same year, not one.
Really?
Not a single female rapper in the YouTube top 25 artists.
That's wild.
Wild.
Yeah, and that lack of visibility, it's like, it feeds this bigger issue, right? It's like, who's controlling the door?
Oh, you mean like the gatekeeper?
Exactly. And this is where Anna's experience working for Prosto, like one of the biggest Polish hip-hop labels.
Yeah.
Huge. Right. She was there. And not one solo female artist was signed during that whole time.
That's no wonder Gonix, who's been rapping, producing for over a decade, felt frustrated, right? She was saying, misunderstood, misquoted, and she even gave an example, like a journalist, they totally twisted her words to make it sound like she was attacking other female rappers.
Oh, classic.
When she wasn't.
Yeah, it's like they don't want to hear the real thing.
And it's not even just that, right? Like she talked about how she'd be offered way less money than men for performances, collabs, even though she had more experience.
Makes you wonder if they even listen to the music.
Right. So it's like hitting her head against a wall. Makes sense why she shifted focus, right? Like moving away from being that lead rapper to creating spaces for other women, prioritizing that artistic freedom. Like the GIFA festival she founded.
Oh, yeah. The one that showcases women in like all urban culture.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So we've got this lack of rep at the top, this gatekeeper problem, and then these talented women like Gonix feeling pushed out. Is this just a Polish thing, or is hip-hop globally like this?
That's the big question.
And that's where it gets good, Gonix and Anna.
Yeah.
They actually debated this.
Oh, really?
Gonix, having lived it, she thinks that Poland, because it's so patriarchal and Catholic, that it's like especially hard for women who want to express themselves.
Especially in hip-hop.
Exactly. Like, if you have strong opinions.
You're radical.
Yeah. What does that even look like, that condensed sexism? Like, what are the specifics?
Well, she mentioned constantly being criticized for her looks, her lyrics.
Really?
Yeah. People saying she's too aggressive or, like, too masculine.
Oh, God.
And then, like, the online threats.
No way.
For speaking out.
That's messed up.
It is.
But Anna, who, remember, she came in as a fan first, then worked with Prosto. She sees it a little differently, right?
Yeah, a little, yeah. She agrees there's this specific kind of sexism in Poland, but she also sees hip-hop globally as struggling with this inclusivity.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it's so male-dominated, right?
Yeah.
And it celebrates this, like, very particular...
Oh, one very specific way to be a man.
Exactly.
So it's like a double whammy.
Right.
This Polish context, and then hip-hop itself.
It's like they're fighting on two fronts.
Now, there are some mainstream female rap stars in Poland now.
There are?
But Gonix's argument is they all fit this, like, very specific, marketable mold.
Ah, I see.
Entertainment, partying, and really appealing to men, you know? Playing by the rules.
Which were written by.
Exactly. And this is where that whole idea of tokenism comes in, right?
Yeah, just because there are a few?
Doesn't mean the problem's solved.
Nope. It's about who is being celebrated and why, right?
So it's not enough to just have, like, a few women at the top.
Right. It's got to be real.
And Gonix feels like those artists who don't fit that mold, the ones who are more alternative or political, they get ignored.
Happens all the time.
Then there's social media. Like, that's the big thing now, right?
Yeah, the big thing.
Gonix and Anna both agree that, yeah, it's easier than ever to release music, reach people.
Sure.
But
it can go south quick.
Like, how so?
Well, it's this pressure, right? To always be creating content, chasing the algorithm, instead of, actually focusing on the art.
Gonix called it distraction culture, which I think is spot on.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, we're just bombarded constantly, making it hard to
focus. And Anna, she pointed out the hypocrisy of some streaming services, right? Like, they'll have these playlists, female artists, but then their main playlists are like
full of misogyny.
Exactly. So it's like, be careful what you consume out there.
Be a smart listener, Think about it.
And then there's this whole data problem.
Yeah, this is a big one.
This lack of data about women in the Polish music industry.
Huge obstacle. Makes it tough to argue for change,
It's like, oh, it's just anecdotes. Right.
Right.
But Gonix and Anna, they've lived it.
And that's why they were both so, fired up about this research thing.
Yeah.
They had hard numbers.
Yeah.
It could be a game changer.
So instead of just, giving up Gonix and Anna, they're actually trying to do something about it.
I love that.
Gonix had this idea, a manifesto.
A manifesto? What, for female musicians?
Yeah, signed by as many of them as possible.
Old.
Right, and it would basically be this document that says, this is what we're dealing with,
Okay, and, what are they asking for?
Specific stuff, quotas for female artists at festivals, funding for mentorships.
Love it.
And even, workshops on unconscious bias.
For, industry people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tangible goals.
So they can be held accountable.
Exactly. It's this isn't just complaining. This is a system that needs fixing.
Right. It's about shifting that power,
Okay, so we've talked about the bad stuff.
Yeah.
But there's also some, really good advice from Gonix and Anna for aspiring artists, which I love.
They didn't just dwell on the negative, did they?
No. Gonix was, really stressing networking, building that support system, find your tribe.
Oh, I love that.
Lift each other up. And she even encouraged female artists to look beyond just the traditional rap scene for audiences.
Interesting.
Yeah, she said she's found more support in alternative music spaces.
That's how the community finds you.
It's that stay curious, stay open.
Powerful stuff. And applicable to anything, really.
And Anna's advice.
Yeah.
Also killer.
Yeah.
She was do your thing. Don't look around, especially not for male approval.
Yes. Make the art you want to make.
Exactly.
Tune out the noise.
And speaking of art, they got into this whole thing about authenticity, especially female rappers and sexuality in their music.
Oh, that's always a tricky one.
Right. Gonix had some reservations about that hypersexualized trend. Is it really empowering or is it just playing to what men want?
She's seen both sides, I bet.
Oh, for sure. And she was there's not a lot of real authentic narrative around sex in Polish rap.
That's interesting.
Right. But Anna kind of pushed back on that.
Did she?
Yeah, she was even those hypersexualized performances, they could be authentic, a way to reclaim their bodies.
They got control.
Yeah. But it all comes back to who's in control, right?
Agency.
Yeah. And Gonix made this point about a lot of those artists, they have male ghostwriters.
Oh, wow. That adds a whole other layer.
Right. So who's really shaping the narrative?
Makes you think.
They both gave some examples of Polish female rappers who they think are doing it right.
Oh, whoa.
Wodowa, Adma, Sylvia Park.
Okay.
Gonix described Sylvia Park as 100% unapologetically herself.
I love that.
And Anna mentioned Alias, who, get this, uses gender ambiguity in their music.
Whoa, how so?
Rapping in both male and female forms.
That's cool. Playing with expectations.
Right. So it seems the Polish female rap scene, there are challenges.
Oh, cons.
But there's also this creative energy potential.
And the best part, artists like Gonix and Anna, they're not just complaining.
Nope.
They're out there doing something about it.
Building a better future.
They're inspiring, really.
So what does this mean for you listening right now?
I think it's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Gonix and Anna, they show you don't have to be huge to make a difference, just passion.
Mm-hmm.
And that willingness to challenge things.
It's that whole be the change thing.
Yeah, and they're actually doing it.
Walking the walk.
Not just talking.
And Gonix mentioned finding more support in those alternative scenes than in hip hop itself.
Which you wouldn't expect.
No.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes community, it finds you.
In the weirdest places.
Right. She's collaborated with electronic producers, folk singers, even spoken word poets.
Wow, she doesn't limit herself.
Stay curious, stay open, right?
It's about finding those shared values.
Even if the music's different.
And you never know what'll come out of it.
Exactly. New sounds, new audiences.
It's she's building her own world.
And that brings us back to the data thing.
Yeah.
If no one's tracking these alternative paths...
It's they don't exist.
We see the barriers, but not how women are.
Seeing around them.
Exactly. Imagine if we had data on that.
It would change everything.
Instead of just the problems, we'd see...
the solutions.
The creativity.
And this is where you come in.
Wait, me, the listener.
Yeah. Remember that whole provocative thought thing?
Oh, right.
What if you were the one to make that research happen.
Fund it.
Yeah. There are grants, crowdfunding, even like rich people who care about this stuff.
So someone listening could like actually do that.
Totally. It starts with thinking about it.
From this deep dive to like actual research.
That's the power of like ideas.
And that's what we try to do here, right? Spark those ideas.
Get people thinking, get them curious.
So big picture, the Polish female rap scene, it's a reflection of like so much barriers, biases, social media craziness.
But also that resilience.
The creativity, Gonix and Anna, they're proof that change is
possible.
It's not easy, but
worth it.
And maybe, listener, you're the one who will
take that next step.
Ask that question, make that change. Wow. Thanks for joining us.